You are coming to realize that you were born to want in an environment that will make sure that that happens, whether you admit it or not, that your preferences will constantly be born. We're too high, too loud, too hot. Turn us down. We cannot hold back. In the same way that Jerry can listen for the perfect balance of sound, you can listen for the perfect balance of your vibration. You get so you can feel when you're in alignment and when you are not. If you are paying attention to the guidance system you were born with, you can know in every moment the balancing of your energy, which is the most important thing for you to know, because the vibration that you offer, or the balance of your energy, equals your point of attraction. And everything that you live and everything that you feel is about that. What comes to you in terms of manifestation or manifestational response to your vibration is all about law of attraction's response to your vibrational offering. You can offer your vibration purposefully, although most humans that you meet do not do that. Most humans offer their vibration in response to what they are observing, which means conditions play a big role in what you offer vibrationally, which means conditions play a big role in how your life goes. So even though you sometimes begin speaking of unconditional love or an unconditional response to life, most humans do not even come close to living it, because most are observing conditions, having an emotional response to the condition, and if they don't like the emotional response they are having to the condition, then they set out singularly or in mass to try to control the condition. Because after all, some conditions make you feel better than others, so why not make laws and get powerful enforcers of the laws, and why not just wrestle those conditions to the ground until they please you? And we say, for one very good reason, you can't do it. And anyone who is attempting to manage their energy or control even the way they feel or create their own reality by tending to conditions is having a miserable time, because even if you have some people up close to you that you are able to influence strongly enough that you are able to get them to behave in a way that makes you feel better, you can't make them maintain that for very long. Just as soon as you get your son trained, he'll go off and marry some girl, and then he'll do what she wants. And even if you do manage to get those up close to you trained, they will have influence from others, and there will be a continuing parade of people in and out of your life, some who please you, some who don't. And you'll be upside down and all around in your wanting to feel good and not being able to manage the behavior of others so that you can. So sooner or later, if you decide to be the deliberate creator of your own experience, and if you decide that you're going to create your own reality, then you have to come round to an understanding that creating one's reality means deliberately offering vibration. And deliberately offering vibration is about paying attention to what you're giving your attention to with your ear to the ground relative to how it feels when you do it. Many of you are beginning to understand that you were born with this magnificent guidance system that is giving you feedback, constant feedback on the vibration of your being. And the vibration of your being is strictly, precisely, and only about your point of focus, which means what you're thinking about. What you're thinking about, past, present, or future, but what you're thinking about. So when you're discussing something, you're activating vibrations that are attracting to you. When you are remembering something, you're activating vibrations that are attracting to you. When you are imagining, observing, when you are focusing, that's the best word. When you are focusing upon anything, the vibrational essence of it is activated in you and becomes a part of your point of attraction. You just can't get around it. You are born with magnificent guidance that lets you know how you're doing. So when we talk about energy balance, we're not talking about balancing your energy with someone else. We're not talking about balancing your energy with your lover or with your mother. We're not encouraging you to balance your energy with one other human. We're encouraging you to balance your energy within you. So what that means is, it means two significant things. It means aligning with your source, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But it also means aligning with your own desire. When you say, I want more money, and you keep noticing you don't have enough money, you're out of balance. Your desire for more money is one vibration. Your awareness of lack of money is another vibration. You're out of balance. You are not in energy alignment. When you want to be slender but you feel fat, you're not in energy alignment. When you want the world to be a better place and you keep watching television programs that show you what's rotten with the world, you're not in energy balance. And it is your energy balance that equals your point of attraction. So we want you to listen and feel as we are moving forward here today. And it would be so wonderful if you could leave this gathering at the end of this day at least understanding that you're in charge of your energy alignment and that you have so many facilities at your disposal to assist you in being a vibrational match to your own desires. You understand law of attraction to some degree when you set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and expect to hear what's being broadcast from the same tower. You understand law of attraction when you set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and then never complain that you can't hear what's being broadcast from 98 FM. You get that. You understand that those signals have to line up. So we think that it should be equally easy for you to understand that when you set your radio dial on, I don't have enough money, that even though you're hoping the tower that says abundance is yours can somehow get through to your receiver, we're here to tell you it won't. You cannot feel not enough money and let more money in. You've just got to find a way to feel more abundant. So most humans say, well, it'd be easy if I had more money. And we say, we know, but you've got to feel it or get closer to feeling it before it can come in. You have to be somewhere in the vibrational range to even get a whiff of it, you see. So we think what goes wrong with so many is that they have a desire for something that's vibrating over here, and they have a habit of vibration that's vibrating over here, and then they feel that something's gone terribly wrong, that their stuff can't get through to them. And we say, you've got to move your habit of thought closer to this desire, which means you've got to modify some beliefs. You've got to change some expectations. You can't expect one thing and get another. Your expectation is such a powerful state of being because your expectation is your focus coupled with powerful belief. And the universal forces, even those who love you, cannot buck your current. Jerry and Esther, the last couple of weeks, were in Oregon and they picked up their magnificent new monster bus. And it is, by Esther's terms, beyond description in so many ways. It is better than they thought it could possibly be. The orientation was intense and satisfying and 2 weeks long. And then, toward the end of that 2 weeks, one day they woke up in the parking lot of the manufacturing plant where they had been happily living, plugged in. And they had an appointment at 10 o'clock with someone inside the building. And when they went to get out, they couldn't. They were locked in. None of the buttons worked. The lever, which is a manual lever, was jammed so tight they could not move it with their hands. So they called the nice man who had been giving them the orientation, and he said, "You've got to be kidding." And Esther said, "Nope. We're really locked in. Bring help." So he came, guided them by pantomime outside the window, then called them on their telephone and explained to them, "Yes, you are locked in." And then he got out the ladder And Jerry and Esther opened the emergency window, and the nice man crawled in. And Esther said, "Have you had breakfast?" And then he proceeded to dismantle the door. And after quite a bit of consternation and amazement, he managed to wiggle something that released it, and they were free at last. But then they could not identify what had caused it. And his instructions to them were, whatever you did to lock yourself in, don't do that again. He is playful, but he had never seen that before. Esther said, "It's not your fault. We have door issues." We bought this motor coach because the door on our last coach never was right. And we foolishly assumed that we could just move into a new coach. And we really thought if we paid enough for it, it would be perfect. But we did not take into consideration the fact that we take ourselves with us everywhere we go. And he said, "Still, this is not right. This should not be happening." And Esther said, "It's a long story. We agree with you that on the face value, it should not be happening. That your mechanics should be able to foresee all things and prevent things like this from happening. But we have issues." Well, he scratched his head as he went away, and they never were able to figure out what happened. And then Esther said, "What happens if we get locked out when we're on the outside, when there's no one on the inside to open the window and let us in?" And he said, "That would be a problem." And then they left the nest, and they drove to San Francisco, and then they drove to Valencia, and they went out to dinner in Valencia, and when they came back to the coach, they were locked out. And Jerry had already asked them which window would be the best one to break. Easiest to replace and least damage. And so he was looking around the parking lot for something big enough to break it. And then Jerry had a very brilliant idea. He put the big key in the big lock and encouraged Esther to try it while he clicked with the electronic gizmo. And after about half an hour, the right alignment happened and the door opened. And so then they went to Prevo in Los Angeles, and talented people greeted them and said to them, "This has never happened before." And Esther said, "We know. We have issues." And so he dismantled the door and examined it from top to bottom, pronounced it healthy as is, and said to them, "Whatever it is that you're doing, don't do that." And so Jerry and Esther now know that life in their new motor coach is dependent upon their alignment of energy. In other words, you can buy the most expensive contraption on the planet, they just did, manufactured by the most talented, caring, effective, efficient people who exist anywhere, and they are that. And if your energy is not in alignment, you can defy all logic, because the universe gives you response that matches your vibration. And Jerry and Esther have had 2 coaches that the doors were not in alignment, and they said it regularly. "We're going to get a new coach, and the door's going to be different."